Hello, Earth signs, and welcome into your reading for the second half of May, where we'll be taking a look at what energy is going to be coming through for you in regards to jobs and careers, love and relationship, and life path and mission. And then after I do the general read for you, I'll pull some cards individually for each of the zodiac signs within that. So for Taurus, for Virgo, and Capricorn. And we'll take a look and see specifically what some of the challenges are, and then we'll kind of go from there. To begin with, we'll pull a card here from this crystal oracle deck, and about 60% of these cards have different crystals on it, so that's giving you some feedback as to what energy or like what crystal you should work with during your meditations for the second half of the month. And then also it's giving a little bit of advice, 3 words there. So we have the jumper card here was Ruby. Oh, I guess those aren't really showing up very well because of the glare, so I'll hold them up here. Ruby, this was the one that jumped, and so this is about rootedness, vitality, and manifestation. If you're working on trying to manifest things in the second half of this month, Ruby would be a great one to use during your meditation practices. And then the one that I pulled here was Journey of the Soul, elegance, mastery, and totality. And with these, we'll kind of keep these up here on the side and refer back to them throughout the reading. But with this Journey of the Soul, that's something to remember as we go into the second half of the month, and in general, that this is all about your soul's journey. And sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the 3D of, oh my gosh, this is happening or that's happening. But if you're able to pull back and almost like view it from the perspective of your life is a play that is unfolding on stage in front of you, and what are the lessons that your character, the main character, is supposed to learn? How are those lessons being demonstrated? So almost pull yourself back into, your high school literature or English class where you're reading different books and plays, and you have to examine the main character and what are the lessons that they're learning, what are the challenges they're overcoming, and how do they change from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. If you can put your life in that framework, then it can kind of help you see, what is it that I'm supposed to be learning? What should I be doing differently? How do I overcome these things? And if there's certain obstacles that you feel like are coming across your path, look at them and see what are the similarities between all of these obstacles. Maybe there's a common thread, common message. So the jumper cards that we had here, and we'll just put these in as general energy that is pushing on you, Earth signs. We have the 5 of Wands, which is that conflict and rivalry and kind of some anger there. We also have the Chariot in reverse, which is this slow moving energy, and it's like there's a lack of direction and things are kind of unbalanced and just a sense of like self-doubt, and sometimes it has this sense of being trapped. Then we also have the Queen of Wands as one of your overall energies, and that's this like joy and courage and confidence. So the Queen of Wands is sitting there in this confident energy, and wands have to do with spirit. So overall, there's some conflict, and I think that's what's going with this Chariot in reverse, where there's this self-doubt and you feel like you're trapped because of this conflict, but you're being pushed to sit in this Queen of Wands energy to try to move through that. So some of the things that are happening, we still do have Pluto in retrograde that started on May 2nd, and that's kind of a little bit of this slowing of these intense transformational energies that have been coming in. Pluto is the great destroyer, so it's kind of that death and rebirth type of cycle. With it being in retrograde, it's almost like there's a little bit of a pause, like a deep, like that pregnant pause, that deep breath of, okay, let's just let things settle and see what they look like and then revisit it. Also on the 20th, we have the Sun entering Gemini, and Gemini is all about communication. So that's going to be, the Gemini season is going to be, spending that time in a more active type of mindset, not so much just stuck in your head off in a corner by yourself, but putting together your short-term plans and keeping busy and being active and engaged and inquisitive about things. So it's more of a doing type of an energy. Let's start with our job and career. In the recent past for you, we've had the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, currently sitting in this Nine of Wands in reverse energy. Next level of energy coming in is Nine of Swords. So in the recent past, from a job perspective, there's been kind of like this sense of lacking effort at work. Like you've maybe abandoned projects, maybe you've started something and then kind of gotten derailed, or you've lost enthusiasm for it. And it's like, maybe that's not really what I want to do. If you're in between jobs, then it could also be a matter of you'd have a little bit of like these bursts of energy of, you know what, I really should look for a job. Maybe I should start back to work. Maybe I should interview for some jobs. And then it's kind of, and it just like that energy just sort of like fizzles out. And, you kind of go down one path exploring and then maybe something else. And right now with your Nine of Wands in reverse, there's this kind of sense of exhaustion. And maybe if you're in between jobs with this stubborn energy, it could be one of those, I just don't really feel like going back to work yet. And it's that pretty dull energy when it comes to jobs, like you're pretty unenthused about it. The next level coming in is this Nine of Swords energy is about seeking help and trying to get back on track. As it relates to jobs, if you have been looking for a job and you're kind of jaded because things haven't really been coming through the way you wanted to, this could be a matter of connecting with somebody who has other connections. Maybe you get back in touch with one of your friends that has connections in the business, or talking to somebody from a job placement office or something like that. So you're looking for some help and direction in terms of how to get back into the workforce, or if this is at your current job and you're just uninspired, unenthused, you show up at work every day, but you kind of don't really care. This has that sense of reaching out and asking somebody else for help. Maybe it's commiserating with one of your coworkers who's in the same boat and trying to figure out how can you two both enjoy your job more, be more, as I had a client one time say, dynamically engaged. So that's the energy from a work perspective. We'll pull cards individually for each of the zodiac signs within our earth signs. And actually here, this is the timing deck, so it can be moved off to the side. We may or may not end up needing it, but I'll scooch these over so that there's enough space as I start pulling those other cards. All right. I'll shuffle here while I'm talking about what else is coming up. On the 23rd of May, we do have Venus entering Gemini, and we also have Sagittarius Full Moon, both on the same day there. Remember, your full moon, those are going to be about letting go of things that are no longer serving you. And during this time with Sagittarius, it's going to be sort of about your beliefs. So either maybe letting go of some of the beliefs that are no longer serving you, or if you have friends or acquaintances or circles that you're running in where they are just not matching up with your beliefs, this might be a time for you to let go of some of them and change them. And think big picture about where is it that you want to go in your life. With Venus entering Gemini, that is about communication. So Venus is the planet of love, and then Gemini is about communication. So it's really about expressing yourself and opening up, communication channels with your person, or if you're not in a relationship, it might be about having those conversations and starting to get out there and mingle with people. So, all right, love and relationship line. In the recent past, we have had the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, currently sitting in the World energy. Next level of energy coming in is Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I think these are going to need to slide up because I'm going to run out of room here soon. Okay, slide these under here. All right, so in the recent past, with our Eight of Pentacles energy, your Eight of Pentacles is going to be this in the reverse energy. So sorry, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. There's kind of been this lazy energy. And you're kind of letting things go, kind of not really very enthusiastic. So honestly, both of these, Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, in general, there's just kind of this lazy feel for you. And some of it, as we tie it back here to to some of the overall energy, if you've been feeling like there's this conflict or rivalry either at work, that can kind of cause you to just be like, you know what? I don't really care. I don't have the time, the energy, the interest in dealing with all of this nonsense. And then with your Chariot in reverse energy, remember that was kind of that lack of balance, and there's a lot of self-doubt there, that kind of that fear of being stuck or trapped. And that can also present itself as this lazy energy. Like you don't know what to do. You're just kind of like, I'm showing up, but I'm not really dynamically engaged. And so then with the World being your current energy, that is the wrapping up of a cycle. With your relationship, if that's the wrapping up of a cycle, and as we go through each of the individual zodiac signs, we'll see whether that means this is just a phase within your current relationship, or is this a relationship that has run its course? And sometimes people think, oh, well, a relationship is forever, especially if it's a marriage. And while that's a wonderful idea that it would last forever, some relationships are here to serve a certain purpose for you. And then kind of once that lesson has been learned, and that's what, when people talk about having karmic partners, or, karmic soulmates, or however you want to phrase that, your karmic, it's not necessarily that, oh, this is a bad, evil person. That's not what that term is meaning. If the person is your karmic connection there, it's that there's something that needs to be learned. There's a lesson that needs to be learned. And the idea is usually once that lesson has been learned, then that relationship is done. Whether that's a friendship, whether that's a work relationship, work setting, whether that's a romantic relationship or even a marriage, that the purpose is to force you to grow. It's to, or I guess, challenge you to grow. It's to challenge you to sit up and learn what is that lesson and work on your own elevation, work on your own ascension, raising your vibration and your growth as a soul. The next level of energy here coming in for you, Earth signs, this Knight of Pentacles in reverse. This is, again, kind of this lazy, dull, irresponsible energy. So it's like something's wrapping up and it's just kind of leaving you like, it does have feelings in there of like that the relationship is ending, but that could be different for each of the individual zodiac signs. But it's kind of that sense of, you've had some of this conflict and rivalry and slow energy, feelings of self-doubt, and just feeling this, dull, lazy energy within the relationship. Learning, the World, because it's a major arcana card, the World is about learning. It's about completion of a cycle. It's about fulfillment of a soul contract. And so fulfillment of a lesson, because in your major arcana, you go from 0, which is the Fool, all the way up to 21, which is the World. So that is all about wrapping up a cycle. And oftentimes when you wrap up a cycle, there is kind of that like, oh my gosh, energy after it's done. Like, okay, that is finally done. So some of this lazy, dull energy that's coming in afterwards, I think can also be attributed to the fact of you felt kind of burned out and uninspired for a long time, finally wrapping up a cycle. And it's like, I just need to not have to do anything right now. But like I said, we will take a look at that in more detail. The other one that just fell, as I was shuffling, is Page of Pentacles in reverse, which is also this lazy lack of direction, like immature energy, like, you know what, this is done. I just don't even know what to do. The other thing that's happening this month on the 25th, May 25th, we have Jupiter entering Gemini, and it's going to sit there for about the next year. And this is going to be a time where you're going to benefit from your mind and your ideas and your plans and, learning new knowledge and expressing yourself openly and working on your communication. So this is kind of that self-development. And if you're coming off of something that's very draining and has left you feeling uninspired, it's like, how do you get that vitality back? How can you manifest a better, more engaging and satisfying reality for yourself? So how can you jump timelines into a different phase? So when we talk about timelines are really choices. And the idea of like jumping to a different timeline is the idea of in the quantum realm that all of these different timelines are playing out, and which one do you want, which one do you want to be on? And if you look at it from the perspective of every possible scenario is existing somewhere out there in the universe, which one do you want to be on? Do you want to be in the scenario where it's like everything sucks and you're uninspired, unenthused, bored out of your mind? Or do you want to be in a happier, more lighthearted, more growth-oriented reality? So how do you jump to that? You jump to that by making different choices. If you want something different, you have to choose something different. If you make the same choices, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So on our life path and mission, in the recent past, we had the Nine of Cups, currently sitting in the Seven of Swords in reverse energy. And the next level of energy coming in is the Knight of Swords. So in the recent past, you've had this sense of, oh, I knew what my life purpose was. And you kind of have this content, happy feel about it. This dog looks pretty content with the 9 cups that are there. Your current energy with this Seven of Swords in reverse, like with your life path, this card is about confession, and it's about, your conscience and having remorse for things, because in the upright, this is about like lying and cheating and deception. So it's that low vibe energy. And in the reverse, it's about kind of confessions and coming to that realization of, I've been sitting in this low vibe. So you may have been feeling content, but then it's almost like this revelation happens, or it dawns on you, however you want to say it, that, wait a second, but I'm really not living a life true to myself. I'm not living up to my potential. Like I thought I had it together, but maybe my perception of it wasn't quite what I thought it was. The next level of energy coming in with this Knight of Swords is this opportunity and going for it. And this is like the idea of making a different choice. Like I said, if you do what you have always done, you're going to get what you've always got. And this is about making a different choice and kind of a little bit of that impulsive, let's just go for it energy. So if you've been feeling like you've been stuck in your life path, you don't really know what direction to go. Maybe you've wrapped up a certain cycle, because the nines, it's kind of like, yeah, you're getting to the end of that cycle. Like you've gotten it. So with your life path and your mission, that can change throughout your lifetime. It's not that you're a failure if you change that. So for example, some people would say like, oh, my mission, my goal here was to raise my children to be, honorable, self-sufficient human beings, whatever, that type of mission. Well, once they reach adulthood, it doesn't mean, well, now you failed and now you have no purpose in life. It's that during that phase of your life, that was your mission. During the next phase of your life, you could have a different mission. So with this being a 9, that's getting to the end of a cycle. So it could be that you've been sitting here in that energy and you're kind of wrapping up one of your major life missions, life purposes. And then, now there's something else, like, hey, I've really always wanted to do this. And so having that sense of, not necessarily remorse, like you regret whatever this other mission was, but maybe you regret having turned your back on some other things that were very important to you. And you just kind of pushed those to the side. Like maybe you always wanted to be a painter and something else came along and you're like, okay, well, I guess this is my new life purpose. So there could be a confession related to, you know what, I always wish that I would have done this. And then this impulsive, like, let's go for it. Let's change course. So that is what we have in general coming in for our earth signs. And now let's move sign by sign and see what other specific messages we have. So we are going to start with Taurus, and we're going to see what comes in under each of these. Now, remember when we were looking at jobs and careers, there was this sense of kind of like laziness at work and then just exhaustion, like you're tired of that job, but you're seeking help. So what else does our Taurus need to know about seeking help here? King of Wands. So look for that King of Wands. Look for that person in that leadership role who has been able to meet those challenges, and reach out and ask that person for help and ask that person for guidance. And what should you do in terms of this exhaustion? So that's one thing. And then let's see, what is it that you don't see coming as it relates to job and career? So what you don't see coming is this Two of Swords in reverse energy. This is going to be that confusion, no good choice. Like you're stuck in this sense of indecision of what should you do? I don't really know what to do. Let's see from a timing perspective when it looks like that decision becomes more obvious or clear to you as to which direction to go. Winter. So it's going to take a little while for you to figure out what you want to do job-wise, but it's like you're kind of looking and you don't really know what direction to go. So if you're able to attach to that King of Wands, or meet up with that King of Wands, you may be able to help find some direction there, and they may be able to help you navigate through this place of indecision. All right, now let's take a look at love and relationships. And, with this, so we had this kind of lazy, dull energy as it relates to your relationship, looking like you're wrapping up a cycle there. And then we had our Knight of Pentacles and our Page of Pentacles in reverse. So again, a lot of this really lazy energy, uninspired energy. So what is causing this lack of inspiration and, lack of energy for Taurus in this relationship? The Sun in reverse. That is that feeling of being locked out of your blessings. There's that pessimism. That's what's causing this laziness. So let's take a look here at this Hidden Messages Oracle deck and see what all these cards are kind of sticking together. I guess I need to rough them up or something like that so they don't stick quite so much. You have that. I feel like such a failure. So that's what your person is thinking, and there's too many red flags. So this is what your person is thinking as it relates to this relationship scenario. So they're feeling like a failure. I'm not saying never, just not right now. That this is not a scenario that they want to be in right now. So it's almost like there's that sense of, they don't want to say no, never, but it's almost like that's kind of it was like buried underneath because they stuck. But also with this one, there's too many red flags. I think they're trying to navigate their way through the fact that there's too many red flags. And the message that they may be telling you. So this is kind of like this hidden message. And, the fact that they feel like a failure because this one was underneath it and kind of hidden by it. I'm not saying never, just not right now. It's almost like that's maybe what they're actually telling you is, maybe things aren't on track right now, but I'm not saying they're never going to be on track. Maybe they will. And so it's almost more like they don't want to tell you that there's too many red flags and that they feel like a failure, because to some extent, if there's this many red flags, on this card, there's all these red flags and they show up in different, forms. There's all those red flags. yet they continued to stay in the relationship. So for them, it's making them kind of feel like a failure. Like, why did I not see all of this to begin with? So, so that's what they're feeling. And you're also feeling this lack of energy, lack of enthusiasm for this relationship. And it has this sense of conflict and rivalry. And there's all of these obstacles, but it's very slow moving. So there's all of these obstacles. And, you know, let's see what your next step is here. Like, what is Spirit saying is your next step? The Hierophant. So this is about finding a mentor or a guru, because this is a very traditional structure, and it's a matter of finding some sort of a mentor, finding a guru that, you know, can help you navigate through this, because it just feels like it's all messy. And you've gotten to the end of this cycle, and the Hierophant, since it is about traditional structures, it's almost like, okay, your situation, it's come to completion. Like the world is that completion card. So it's almost like the marriage has kind of come full circle. You've learned the lessons you need to from this marriage. And it's just leaving you uninspired because you're not on the same page. So let's see. Let's take a look then. And this is, you know, kind of circling back on this journey of the soul. What is it that you were supposed to learn from this marriage? And it could be that it's just kind of run its course. You've learned the lesson that you were supposed to learn there. And rather than letting yourself continue to spiral down into that sense of, I guess, despair or apathy or just total indifference, rather than doing that, it's like, how do you get yourself out of it? It's probably going to take some additional help from outside resources, from teachers, mentors, gurus, counselors, things like that. All right, let's take a look at life path and mission and see what wants to come through. So with this, it kind of had that sense of, you know, maybe you're closing out one part of your life path and reconnecting with a part that maybe you had abandoned a while ago. So let's get some more information. Talk to me about this this confession. What is this confession here about? Page of Cups in reverse, which is about kind of this insecurity and disappointments. And then your Five of Swords in reverse, which is about some sort of finding resolution. So there's a confession about how disappointed you are with like your life path, and how there's maybe some immaturity related to that of, well, but I thought things were going to be different. I thought things were going to be different. And then finding the resolution as to what that next step is for you for your life path. And let's get a timing card here on when you seem to find that resolution. Within 3 to 6 months, you know, so kind of finding your new direction. Let's pull some Moon Oracle cards and we'll see what additional messages want to come through here for Taurus. It's time to take action, new moon in Aries, and you are good enough. Now, this issue of are you good enough, this full moon in Virgo, this is going to be if you've been having these fears and insecurities and doubts, you know, and this one here, this Page of Cups in reverse, has this element of like insecurities, like, am I good enough? You know, maybe I just don't have a path. Maybe maybe my purpose here is to suffer, you know, type of thing. It's like, no, you are good enough. That's not, you know, your purpose here is not just to suffer, then you die. And then you also have this energy here of it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. So however that resonates with you, like this whole path seems to get more and more and more, I would say, low vibe, depressed, uninspired, out of alignment. So now's the time to take action. Like, don't wait until things get so god awful terrible. Take action now. Part of it, you know, so North Node is in Aries until January, and that is about standing in your truth and being unapologetically you. Speaking your mind, putting your own needs first, and that involves making decisions that bring you better into alignment instead of doing things that other people, want you to do, or you think that other people want you to do. All right, the two cards that came out, we had blame and empathy. So blame, I accept responsibility for my well-being. It could be some of this laziness is due to blaming somebody else for the struggles that you're having within this relationship, but you're responsible for your own well-being. So if you're not happy, you have the ability to change it. Even if that means walking away, that is an ability to change it. And then we also have empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. Now, this doesn't mean that, I'm just going to agree with whatever the other person says, but if you've been butting heads and because you're not seeing the other side, you need to work on tapping into that. That's part of this journey of the soul, is how do you, from a mastery perspective, how do you master being able to see things from multiple points of view? Also, and that can come into play here with your job, if you're looking at trying to connect with somebody who's in that King of Wands energy, that empathy, how can I see it from their side? What have they done differently? How could I let their successes inspire me to be successful so that I can sit in this Queen of Wands energy, this courageous, confident, joyful type of energy, as opposed to sitting in this dull, uninspired type of energy. But this is all part of your journey of the soul. This is all part of your soul growth. So don't let yourself get too frustrated if it looks like, oh, great, so I'm just, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing here. Everybody goes through those phases in life where you have more energy or less energy towards moving onto your path. And it seems like you're just kind of in a little bit of a funk here, but you can turn it around. You do have the power to do it. You're responsible for your well-being, and you have the power to make some of these changes to bring yourself into alignment. So Taurus, I hope this has been helpful for you, but as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. I will be doing some additional readings this week, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when these new videos post, like the message from your person, pick a pile, so twin flame readings. So I wish you peace and joy along your journey, Taurus. Until next time. All right, Virgo, let's take a look and see what other specific messages want to come in for you. Now, in our original reading, remember on the jobs and careers standpoint, there was a little bit of this laziness at work. In the past, you've been kind of feeling that lazy energy, and maybe kind of like abandoning some different projects at work. Maybe you kind of started on some things and then you abandoned it, and you're just kind of feeling like exhausted and burned out. Some of it may also be that you have had different projects that have been started, and then like the message I'm getting is that your boss, your employer, your workplace canceled some of those projects. So it's like you get started on something and then it's, oh, nope, that project, never mind, we're going in a different direction. So then you start something else, nope, we're abandoning that. And so it kind of leaves you in that position of, okay, do I really even want to put much effort or energy into this if you're just going to end up pulling this project later? And let's see, with this, the next level of energy coming in is that you're seeking help. So let's get some clarification. What does that look like when it says you are seeking help there with our Nine of Swords energy? And actually, your Nine of Swords is going to be, I had misread that. I was looking at it as a reverse card. I don't know why. So in my original reading, when it was talking about like getting help from somebody, Nine of Swords in the upright is actually anxiety and trauma and stress. But what can help you is this Queen of Pentacles energy, which is this like luxury and comfort. Like, how do you move into this more luxurious space, because like right now you're really stressed out. And it was weird because when I was looking at that before, it was coming across as in the reverse, and now as I'm looking at it, it really isn't. So this is, this is creating a lot of anxiety for you because you're just uninspired at work, and that might be a situation that you're not used to being in. So what is your challenge? What is keeping you from being able to move into this energy of Queen of Pentacles, Virgo? All right. It's the Hermit in reverse. So that is your challenge, where you feel like you're lonely and you feel like you're withdrawn from a lot of people. And so you don't, that is kind of contributing to this spiral of feeling this sense of anxiety, and you just kind of feel like you're all off on your own. So what is advice from Spirit? What should you do next, to be able to sit in this Queen of Pentacles energy? What should you do next, Virgo? King of Swords. This is that having that authority and that discipline. So remember, overall energy, we had this energy of like conflict and rivalry. And then we also had the Chariot in reverse, which is having that lack of direction. So because of all of the muddiness that's going on at work, you don't really know what direction to go. So Spirit is saying, take a leadership role here. Have that authority and that discipline to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to just kind of free float out here and wait for something to change. I'm going to, from a mastery standpoint, I'm going to make some change. Maybe you're working on manifesting a better job. Maybe you're working on manifesting better scenarios within your job. But this message is coming in that you need to definitively stand up and say, this is what I want. You need to do that with like joy and courage, to stand up and say, this is what I want. I'm not going to sit back and let things just kind of unfold however they're going to unfold. All right, let's take a look at love and relationships. So in your love and relationship line with our Eight of Pentacles in reverse, there was that energy of just kind of like laziness, and you're just kind of letting go. Okay, that one came up, your Eight of Wands. As I'm shuffling, since that one was the only one that turned, we'll keep that one. There's also this energy. Eight of Wands in reverse is kind of about like not really knowing, kind of where to go. Like you've missed some chances. There's just this slow, like bad timing sort of feel that's going on within this relationship. And so with the World coming out, that's like, you wrapped up a certain cycle and, you're still in that lazy, dull energy. So let's see. Let's pull a couple cards here. Oracle cards. Message from your person. So for those of you who are in a relationship, this would be the message from your person, or kind of what's on their mind, what's on their heart as it relates to this situation. Oh my gosh, all these cards are sticking together. There's too much history. So that's kind of the message that's coming through. And then I feel at home with you, but that's, and that's kind of that sense of there's too much history in terms of how do we move forward, but there's also a sense of laziness here because they feel at home with you. So they're not pushing the issue. Like there's too much history to be able to get you back into a good, happy place, but there's a sense of complacency because they do feel at home with you. What is the advice from Spirit in terms of next steps here with Virgo? All right. We have our Five of Cups in reverse, and this is about moving on. It's about finding acceptance for the situation as it is, and kind of like turning the corner and just saying, you know what, maybe there is too much history. Maybe there's too many obstacles and there's just not really anything clear for us to do. So there's that sense of moving on. Let's pull a timing card here. What does that timing look like? Once the lesson has been learned. And with that, if you're sitting in this energy, because so much of this is this And when I'm saying lazy, it's not like, oh, you're being a slob sitting on the couch. It's just you're not really inspired to want to take action to change it. And, it's like, okay, the lesson has been learned, but you're also not taking the initiative to change the dynamic, to change the scenario. And, it's almost that sense of, when a relationship's over, and it's like you can kind of see it, that energy exchange or lack of energy exchange between the two of you, like you both know it's over, but nobody wants to say it because you don't want to be the bad guy that says, hey, I think this is done. And so instead you both just sit there because you kind of feel at home, like I said, not lovey warm, but like, well, this is where I've always been, so I guess that's what I'm doing. But once that lesson has been learned that you deserve more, that you deserve happiness, that you deserve to feel in alignment where you have a partner that's wanting to contribute and wanting to help raise your vibration, then that will spur some sort of change. Otherwise it's going to be a continuation of this energy where both of you aren't really putting any energy in. It's almost more like if you're married, it's like you're staying married because functionally it makes sense. It's easier that way. You have your roles, I have my roles, but you're not staying together because there's that passion, because there's that connection. So that's kind of with that lazy energy of, well, it would take too much effort to go through getting a divorce. You're not happy, but it would take too much effort to go through getting a divorce. So until you learn that lesson to say, I want that happiness, I want that growth, my soul's journey is to continue to expand. Once you learn that, then you'll have that sense of wanting to move on. Otherwise, I think you're just going to end up staying in that situation. All right, life path and mission. So this was one where there was a life path that had already, or, like maybe a life path that was finishing up. There was some sort of a confession, and then there's this energy coming in, this Knight of Swords energy of, there's an opportunity. So let's take a look. What is this confession about? So for Virgo, what is this confession about, Spirit? This is about overcoming some sort of adversity and moving on, and forgiveness. So there's a confession about overcoming some sort of adversity. So let's get a clarifier on, I was going to say, what is the adversity that you're trying to move on from? Ace of Swords in reverse is that you just have no focus. So it's kind of like that confession. You may have been one of those people that it seems like you always have your act together. You always know where you're going, what you're doing. And the confession is, I really don't, with this sense of I'm moving on, but I don't know what I'm moving on towards. Like, I don't have a good sense of focus. Like, you may have overcome something, but then now you don't really know what to do with that. So what is, Spirit, what is this Knight of Swords energy, this new opportunity? Let's get some clarification for Virgo. What is this new opportunity that's coming in for life path? Temperance. You might be having a twin flame coming into the picture. Temperance is Archangel Michael, and he is the keeper of the twins. And this is all about finding that balance, and it's also about patience and kind of harmony and moderation. And, if you don't know what your direction is, this is also that card of patience and having faith in the divine, that things are being orchestrated for your highest good. So you may have to sit tight for a little bit until you feel that sense of purpose coming in. But again, if you're on a twin flame journey, Archangel Michael is on the scene and maybe orchestrating some things behind the scenes for you that you're not really aware of. So that idea, if you're moving on, but you don't know what you're moving on to, but you have that urge to move on and that something else is out there. So take time to breathe out, and then a personal issue reaches resolution. For some of you, that's probably going to be here. This personal issue with this relationship is going to reach resolution. You both may get to that point of saying, you know what, this doesn't really make any sense. you know, we're just here essentially as roommates. Why are we doing this? So that could be the resolution. Or you may both decide, hey, you know what? Neither one of us are really interested in romance. So, you know, you do your thing, I do my thing, and we just kind of, you know, pass each other in the hallways, so to speak. Whatever that resolution looks like for you, that feels good for both of you, that feels like that's the right step. And remember, there's going to be all this energy of communication coming in during Gemini season. All right. So the 3 that popped out here, we have worry, abundance, and humor. Worry is, I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And that can be up here where you've been worrying about, what do I do from a job perspective? Because I'm not happy here and it's really stressing me out. So that's not going to help you move on. You need to do something. You need to do something different in order to get something different, because worrying about it isn't going to actually affect it. Then we have abundance. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. If you've been playing too small when it comes to the relationship because of the fact that, you know, maybe things haven't worked out the way you wanted them to, this is that reminder of you have the potential to manifest. So this is that manifestation here, what it is that you desire. And then also choosing to focus on the lighter side. This is a lot of heavy energy down here. And this is kind of a disconnection from energy, but this is heavy energy down here. So make sure that you're seeing the lighter side of things. So take that time to work on your meditation and your rootedness, and, you know, really call on your spirit guides for help and for some direction, especially as it relates to this. So it seems like this cycle is going to continue on until you learn a lesson and change something about it. So I hope that you found today's message to be helpful, Virgo, but as always, take only what resonates. So if you're not feeling, I guess I would say with any of these, if this is not how you're feeling in the recent past, then this line is intended for somebody else who's listening. So, you know, when we say if it resonates with you, or like if it doesn't resonate with you, then leave it. That would mean that I'm picking up a situation or energy for some Virgos that have this scenario, but that doesn't mean every Virgo on the planet has this energy right now. So take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. I will be doing some additional readings this week. Is this your person? Pick a pile, twin flame. So if you want to be alerted as to when those new videos post, make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell. Otherwise, I wish you peace in your journey, Virgo. All right. So Capricorn is next. All right, Capricorn, we are going to take a look at specifically what some of these messages are for you. We're going to expand upon what we saw in the general reading. So in the general reading for Earth signs, up here from a job perspective, there was this sense of, I guess, kind of laziness that was coming through, like lacking effort and abandoning projects. And the abandoning projects could either be that you just lose steam and it's like, no, I kind of don't want to do that. And if you're in between jobs, it could be you sort of start to look for a job and then I'm kind of losing energy there. If it's in a current job, that could also be that your company or your employer or whoever is changing the priorities on you. So you might be starting to get through one project and they're like, no, we're scrapping that. Never mind. Here, I want you to work on this. And then you start working on this and they're like, no, we're going a different direction. And that can create a lot of discontent at work. So when we look at our at our 9 of Wands in reverse, this sense of exhaustion, that can get exhausting when you start working on projects and they keep getting changed, deadlines keep getting changed, because you never get that sense of satisfaction that you've gotten anything done. And so that can be exhausting. And this next level of energy coming in is actually this like stress, anxiety, to some extent for some, almost like traumatic type of energy, but it really comes across as more just like stress and anxiety that's coming in. Like, really, this is so unfulfilling for me. So Spirit, let's take a look. What is it that our Capricorns can do with this situation, given that there's all this stress and anxiety? What is the advice from Spirit here for Capricorn? Ace of Cups. That is going to be that creativity, that inspiration. Oh, my cup runneth over. So how will our Capricorns get there? What do they need to do to get to that Ace of Cups energy? The devil. So the devil is the energy that's keeping you here, that's keeping you looping. So you're going to have to break free from that devil energy. There can be some conflicts here at work too, things that are trying to keep you off your path. So don't let yourself get dragged off your path. And this is kind of what your job maybe has been doing for you. It's been keeping you off your path. And because this Ace of Cups energy, that's like that joy that you feel when you're doing something that really lights you up from the inside, when you're really doing something that resonates with you, that makes you glow. And that's that kind of Queen of Wands energy is going with that Ace of Cups. So let's take a look at a timing card. When does it look like this Ace of Cups energy is coming in for Capricorn? Right around the corner. So it's like you've kind of gotten fed up with this nonsense, and it's right around the corner that this new energy is coming in for you. All right, let's take a look at love and relationships. So for those of you who have been feeling this laziness, and it could either be that it's laziness, like if you are not in a relationship, like, you know what, I'm giving up on love. I don't even care. I don't even want to put any effort into that. With the world energy of completing a cycle, could be that you are ending that cycle of, yeah, I just don't care. For those of you in a relationship where you've just lost the drive to contribute energetically into that relationship, the world card is like there's a lesson that has been learned. So let's take a look. What is that lesson that's coming through to completion? What is that lesson, Spirit, for our Capricorns? That is the Seven of Cups in reverse. So the lesson is, if there's too much confusion, too many distractions, and that's what's keeping you from being engaged in your relationship, you know, and that's not even necessarily saying there's too many options, like, oh, I'm looking at all these other people because I'm attracted to all these other people, but just other things vying for your attention. Let's pull, for those of you in a relationship, let's pull a couple cards here about what is your person feeling like? What is it in their heart about your relationship? I want it to be the person I know you deserve, and then I'm working on my healing. So there is somebody, you know, the person does want to be a better person. They do want to be a better partner. And if they haven't, if there's been too much in the way of distractions and they've been shortchanging you energetically, because this may not be you that has the too many options. They may be, you know, in a situation where they have all these other commitments and obligations that are sitting here chirping for their attention. Oh, work is really crazy. Oh, family's really crazy. And you just kind of feel like, whatever, I'm, you know, last priority. The person, they're working on their healing around that. Maybe it's setting better boundaries, you know, with work, with family. But this next level of energy coming in, you know, with your Page of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles in reverse, there is this kind of lazy energy going on, and a little bit of this lack of direction as well. So kind of keep in mind that that's out there. Spirit, what is it that our Capricorns should be working on? This is Eight of Cups in reverse. So it's interesting how many of these that we have that are coming up sequentially. So we have our Eight of Cups in reverse, and this is about feeling stuck and avoiding making a change. So if you're feeling stuck and you are avoiding making a change, that's what you're being asked to work on. What does the timing look like of you unsticking yourself once you have fully surrendered to the divine? So once you can acknowledge that this is happening for you, not to you, and that you do have control over it, it looks like you'll be in a position to be able to move on and, you know, really really kind of sit in a different energetic space there and evaluate, is this the place that you want to be? All right, let's take a look at life path and mission. This was one where you thought you had everything, going the way you wanted it to, and then you had the Seven of Swords in reverse, which was about kind of a confession there, and then now you have this Knight of Swords energy coming in next. That's about this opportunity and kind of that energy of wanting to go for it. So Spirit, talk to us a little bit about what is this confession or this remorse that you're currently sitting in for Capricorn. Ace of Pentacles. So there's been like these new starts or a new opportunity. And so the remorse that's associated with that is, if there's a new opportunity, if you take it, then does that mean that this mission, that previous life path that you thought was good, does it devalue that if you change direction? What else does Capricorn need to know about this new direction that looks like it's coming in, or new opportunity? Ace of Wands. So this is good. This is this fresh new energy. There's excitement and creativity about it. And your Knight of Swords energy, that just go for it energy, is really a loud energy that also is tying back to this Queen of Wands energy, this sense of joy and courage and confidence. So just rest assured that if you go in a different direction with your life path and mission, it does not devalue what you had. It doesn't mean that what you were doing before was wrong. That could just be that part of your life, the mission and the life path there, has run its course. And it did what it was supposed to do. So hold your vision. If you're getting excited about something, hold your vision. There's value to that. We also got a new romantic cycle begins. And so that's going to begin once you surrender to the divine and bring resolution to this line there. Then you'll have a new romantic cycle starting. All right, let's pull a couple of these cards as well, our soul journey cards, and see what wants to come through here. We have envy. I'm the same as everybody else, but with different challenges, and perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Especially up here, because look at this. We have all of these aces out here. We have Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups. So there's a lot of this fresh new energy, and persevere with that, because you can make a good go of things from a job perspective. So know that you can do whatever you set your mind to. And then with this envy, I'm the same as everybody else, but with different challenges. You might be sitting in this, why does everybody else have it easier with love? And part of it is you need to learn that lesson and surrender to the divine before you can kind of get into your happy space. So Capricorn, I hope this message has been helpful for you, but as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. The idea with take only what resonates is if the beginning part does not resonate with you, then that whole progression likely won't resonate with you. But if you're feeling this over here, there's messages of some sort in this line for you. So I will be doing some additional videos this week, message from your person, pick a pile, things like that. So make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those new videos post to the channel. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time, Capricorn.